Karandavasana, or the goose pose, is a very challenging arm balance from the second series that involves coming into the lotus position from Pinchamayurasana, then lowering the knees down to the backs of the arms, holding there for at least 5 breaths, and then pressing all the way back up and straightening out into Pinchamayurasana. So this posture demands a very strong aponic coiling action as well as considerable arm strength. In order to move in and out of the full Karandavasana position, you have to really bring the back strongly into flexion, rolling the pubic bone toward the navel and the navel toward the solar plexus as you come down, and then sustaining that strong flexion pattern even as you begin the lift back up, so that you don't take your knees away from the chest until the hips are reasonably far above the shoulders. And that's the real key to getting out of the Karandavasana position. It's much easier said than done, of course, but if you have the right idea, that'll go a long way toward taking you fully into the form. So let me demonstrate. And so you're going to start with the elbows no wider than the shoulders, index fingers pointing straight forward, and the thumbs pointing toward each other. And you kick up. So from Pinchamayurasana, right leg first, and take lotus. To get the feet way deep in the hip creases. And the knees come down toward the chest, then start to curl in. And lift the head. Take at least 5 breaths here. Then stay tucked. And the knees lift last. Straighten back out. Chaturanga. Now, to cultivate the strength to come all the way down and hold it is the first step. So you have to make sure that you can get into the lotus posture by yourself from Pinchamayurasana. If you can't do that, then work on getting into lotus from a tripod headstand, like this. This is a more stable position. And so if you work with it here, it's a little bit easier to find. And then once you sort it out in that position, you try to do it from Pinchamayurasana. Then, once you've got that all sorted out, you can start to lower all the way down as far as you can while still being able to come back up. So you might be coming down just halfway or so and going back up, and you can even practice doing that a few times. So it might look like this. Come into lotus, go down just as far as you can, and then come back up. But make sure that you don't just close the hips, but that you also start to go into flexion a little bit and then back up, or you won't really be accessing the essential form. So the back has to start to round at some point as you bring the knees down. And if you're just bringing the knees down and bringing them back up because you're flexing the hips, then you're not really accessing the core in the way that you need in order to fully develop your Karandavasana. But you can go down as far as you can while still coming back up, then take a vinyasa, Then maybe a second time through, you'll come all the way down into the Karandavasana position, if possible, and try to hold that for as long as you can. When you can't hold it for any longer, you can simply bring your lotus form down to the floor and go back to chaturanga. If you have someone around to help you, they can hold your feet and help you on a third round to go up and down, coming all the way, touching your knees to the backs of your arms, and then lifting all the way back up. Make sure that an experienced teacher will be able to keep your weight centered over your arms in just the right way, and they can even help you curl in and up. But this is a really excellent technique for building the strength. You can go up and down 5 times just within that third round, and you'll probably find that that's really useful in helping you to cultivate the basic movement pattern for Karandavasana. Okay? If you find that it's really difficult to come into the flexion pattern in the way that you need to even hold Karandavasana from the very bottom, then in addition to working assiduously on your jump backs and working assiduously on the Lolasana form, you can play around with the following extracurricular sequence. You'll bring the hands down, just like you're going to go up into Panchamayurasana, and then bring the knees to the backs of your elbows, and then you're going to press your elbows into your knees and push the knees toward the elbows and round the spine at the same time. So the pubic bone's lifting strongly up toward the navel, and the navel's lifting toward the solar plexus, and you hold here for at least 5 breaths. And you'll really feel the abdominal wall engaged strongly in this form. Okay. Then you release that. And then you take the knees to the backs of your shoulders, and you shift the weight forward so that the feet come off the floor. And this too is cultivating the core strength, but also working more into the shoulders and into the triceps in the way that you need for Karandavasana. So you hold this for about 5 breaths. Then you cross your feet and pull your ankles in towards your sitting bones. Hold that for another 5 breaths, and then come down. You'll feel your core really strongly engaged. Then you can try Karandavasana again and see if that helps you to stimulate, to find and connect with that aponic pattern. I hope these tips are helpful to you. Good luck with Karandavasana.